So perfectly the flavour, the very essence of this extraordinary FA Cup campaign of dash and daring from David and blooded nose for Goliath. Two proud managers, Harry Redknapp and Dave Jones, two men who've had their fair share of adversity in recent times, but now relishing their moment of glory. We are guaranteed an English managerial success for the first time since Joe Royle masterminded Everton's win over Manchester United in 1995. Today's chief guest of honour, Sir Bobby Robson. Wonderful to see him here. He, of course, was in charge of the Ipswich team that beat Arsenal at Wembley 30 years ago now, at the 1978 FA Cup final, with Roger Osborne's winning goal that wrote his name into Suffolk folklore along with Sir Bobby's. Well, the cup final is always such a vibrant occasion with its ear-splitting sound and kaleidoscopic range of colour, but this year, maybe with the absence of the usual suspects, the big hitters. There is Ray Clements alongside me here in terms of the atmosphere, an extra dimension, I think, a real throwback to yesteryear.
It's fantastic, I have to say. You know, every year I come and I love the atmosphere here, but, you know, people said this cup final wouldn't be the same because one of the big teams isn't here. Try and tell that to the 85,000 fans that are here. It is an absolutely incredible atmosphere. For a good hour, they've been chanting backwards and forwards in good-natured banter. They've joined in everything that's happened pre-match. It's just been a special atmosphere so far.
And he is certainly relishing his appearance here today, Sir Bobby Robson. Meeting the officials here. Mike Dean is the referee today. He should have done this 2 years ago. It had to be withdrawn because he comes from Wirral and it was too close to Liverpool, who of course were playing in the final, and indeed were the winners against West Ham. It is an amazing atmosphere at Wembley today, and let's hope we can have a final to match. Meeting here the Cardiff players, captained by Irishman Stephen McPhail, who's hoping to lead the Welsh club then to their first FA Cup triumph by a second-tier team since West Ham's win over Arsenal in 1980. Jimmy Floyd Hasselback, who will be playing up front at the age of 36. And there is Dave Jones. What a transformation in his standing among Cardiff fans. Only 6 months ago, many were calling for him to be sacked, as the team was struggling then for a championship foothold. Now he's on the brink of legendary status in guiding the Welsh club to their first final since they took the FA Cup back to Cardiff on the one and only occasion the trophy has left England way back in 1927. Now this year, not only the English anthem, but the Welsh one too, to be sung by Catherine Jenkins, My Hen Wlad Fy Nhade, Land of My Fathers. Now the English anthem from Leslie Garrett. Absolutely amazing. Even the divas are fighting it out beforehand. And if that hasn't had the hairs on your neck standing up, I don't know what will. Such a massive day for these two clubs. No sign of the big four. As Dave Jones has been saying this week, this year we have broken the mould. FA Cup fever has engulfed the naval town of Portsmouth for weeks now, before the semi-final, let alone after it. And down in Wales, the city of Cardiff has come to a standstill as well today, as the Bluebirds savour their first FA Cup final in 81 years. The teams in, let's have confirmation of the lineup, starting with Cardiff. Fair to say, I think, that Dave Jones knew his preferred 11 a while ago. The only real decisions concern the choice of the likes of Peter Whittingham and Gavin Ray, Joe Ledley in midfield, rather than young Aaron Ramsey. While up front, Paul Parry's recent return from injury, I should say, after he missed the semi, meant he would be the most likely starter, as indeed he is, alongside Jimmy Floyd Hasselbaink, right?
Yeah, we expect him to be playing with a 4-4-2. Certainly, Enkelman, I'm sure, when he joined the club at the start of the season, wasn't expecting to do a cup final, so it's fantastic for him. And of course for Jimmy Floyd Hasselbaink as well up the front. Be very interested to see him and Parry play together, but Ray and McPhail need to win that midfield battle and get the balls to Whittingham and Ledley, who can push down the outside and get balls into those front two.
Well, enormous relief for Harry Redknapp, not to mention the legion of Pompey fans here today. The England goalkeeper David James, such a talisman for them this season, has recovered in time from a calf strain, and that a minor concern over Sol Campbell is cleared up too. With Jermaine Defoe cup-tied, semi-final hero Kanu takes centre stage up front again then, as Redknapp relies on Cratchar, Montari and Utaka to lend willing support from midfield, along with Pedro Mendes, who's in for Papa Bouba Diop.
Well, of course, they'll play their famous 4-5-1. Kanu will be up the front. No good playing balls over the top to him because he doesn't go chasing things. They've got to get the ball into feet, and Utaka and Cranchar, Montari and Mendes, or Diarra, because Mendes could sit as well as Diarra, so that might be a situation that will develop during the game. But they need to get their midfield men up to support Kanu as quickly as possible, because he is very, very good at holding the ball up, but he does need support.
Stephen McPhail and Sol Campbell, the two skippers, the pinnacle then of Mike Reed's refereeing career as he takes the cup final whistle. Well, Mike Dean, I should say, not Mike Reed, he's a comedian. His assistants are Trevor Massey and Martin Yerby, with Chris Foy as the fourth official. Well, it seems an eternity since these two clubs claimed their places in this year's final. And since those euphoric celebrations here 6 weeks ago, the form book has perhaps been rather inconclusive. No question that both at times have had one eye on today's return to Wembley. Jimmy Floyd Hasselbaink, who came up with an absolute cracker of a goal, I remember in one of the earlier rounds against Wolves, and Kanu, of course, who was then the match winner for Pompey here in the semi-finals, that win over West Bromwich Albion. Cardiff suggested they might make a late charge for the Championship playoffs, but just fell short in the end, whereas Pompey's challenge for a UEFA Cup place also subsided. But even though Redknapp's team did lose their way, and indeed their last 4 Premier League fixtures, they still managed their best ever Premier League finish of 8th place. Mike Dean checking that all is well. The 127th FA Cup final about to get underway. No replays. It will be decided, of course, on the day. And on recent history, it might just be a long afternoon. The last 3 finals have all gone to extra time, and the first 2 to penalties. before wins by Arsenal in 2005 and Liverpool the following year. The first free kick of the game goes to Portsmouth. Two teams who have never previously met at any stage of the FA Cup, let alone the final. Portsmouth in the same strip, the blue strip they wore when they won the cup in 1939. Hopefully they've watched them since then. Cardiff in their lucky black and yellow colours they have worn in the last two rounds, including the win over Barnsley at the semi. This is Montari. And going for it too. Enkelman holding on.
Yeah, nice comfortable save for Enkelman there. I'm sure he'll be quite happy with that. A lot of the pace taken off of this when he took the deflection there. And Enkelman could have let it go, but I think he's quite happy to get an early touch.
And here's one for David James at the other end. And they come out very quickly then to confront Paul Parry. He's only just come back. Some 5 weeks he's been out with an injury. And he was so upset at missing the semi-final. Desperate to play here today, and he has been given his chance.
Well, he has, and he had to be correct there as the ball spun through on this greasy surface. If he just got it slightly wrong there would have been a penalty, but certainly he got out, got a block on it. But, you know, a quick opportunity for Cardiff.
On a grey, overcast afternoon in London. Johnson and Kanu here squaring up to each other. And referee Dean wants a word, just to calm them down. Inside what, the first 2 minutes here still.
There's bound to be so much adrenaline pumping through both sets of players. Such a massive occasion, such a long build-up. And for some of these players, certainly in the Cardiff side, this is the biggest game of their life. And these early moments, they're bound to be tense, and there's bound to be one or two errors.
An unexpected chance for these players to become legends for their clubs. Campbell rising highest. Up away then by Mendes, who is something of a surprise inclusion. And I think you've got a word, Ray, haven't you, yesterday that he might be in today in place of Dion.
Yes, I did, yeah, and I think everybody thought beforehand that Diarra will sit in front of the back four, but it appears at the moment that Mendes is going to do that. That's his most comfortable position, and let Diarra break forward from Montari.
Here's Hasselbeck. A loser with Chelsea in 2002 against Arsenal. But he felt he didn't do himself justice till he was injured, in fairness to him. And it turned out to be quite a serious injury too. Here is Diarra, for me a really important player in this Portsmouth team. What a signing he has been. The former Arsenal and Chelsea man too. He was actually on the bench for Chelsea in last season's final before switching to the Emirates Stadium, where things really didn't work out for him. And Harry Redknapp only too pleased to snap him up and bring him to Fratton Park. And he's been a revelation. David James hoping for third time lucky. A loser twice with Liverpool. Play by Johnson. Playing alongside the Dutchman Luvens at the back for Cardiff. And there's Herman Hreidarson, the man from Iceland, allowing to roll out for a goal kick. Well, he's been a very, it's been an emotional time for Harry Redknapp. The things happening off the field involving him, and of course the sad death of Frank Lampard's mother in the past couple of weeks. Harry's wife is also a twin sister, and he's dedicating this to his own wife here, if he can conjure up a victory for Portsmouth. Up comes Luvens. Getting away too from the challenge then of Pedro Mendes. Campbell then losing out. It's been a spirited start here by Cardiff, the team from the Championship.
Well, it has, and I expected that Portsmouth had impressed themselves on Cardiff right at the start and pushed them back and show that they're up against the Premiership side. But to be fair to Cardiff, they're the side that's come forward. They've allowed Portsmouth no time on the ball whatsoever. Look, they're pushing up on their back four and making them make elementary errors.
Mendes, Portuguese international. Utaka from Nigeria. There had been a suggestion that he might not have played today. He had a bit of a dip in form lately. I think 1 or 2 have gone off the boil for Portsmouth. I was talking with Joe Jordan this morning, their coach, and he was saying, look, I'm afraid our eye has got off the ball since we got through to the final. And Dave Jones's team have also suffered in that respect. Although they did end the season on a high with a home win over Barnsley. And the manager felt we were playing more like our old selves, he said. The team that earned their place in this final. These two most unlikely of Wembley bedfellows. Capaldi has got a long throw. It is an important part of their armoury. And they won the corner here. Louvens will come up from the back. Johnson, too, is certainly a threat. A scorer against Middlesbrough in the quarter-finals up at the Riverside Stadium when they outplayed the Premier League team. Here is Johnson. Not jumped, though, by Hariderson. Giant figure back there for Pompey. They've got some big lads in this team. Hariderson again, but he was muscled out of that. Kevin McNaughton, Scottish international defender for Cardiff. Indeed, he's just got back into the frame for the Scots on the back of his form for Cardiff and the cut run. Cardiff, whose Millennium Stadium hosted the cup final for 6 years, of course, until 2007, and now they're the visitors to the new Wembley. Diarra goes down though by Gavin Ray. That's going to be a key area. Two very combative players in the heart of the midfield. Louvens. Now then to Johnson. He was at Wycombe Wanderers when they got to the semi-finals back in 2001. Campbell's clearance, not a very effective one though. Whittingham linking up well. Now Ray, and then to Ledley, the semi-final hero. But it's Distan who brings it away for Portsmouth. Kratcha, the Croatian, and then Kanu ambling leisurely forward.
I don't think Crenshaw was very happy there. Crenshaw was at full pace. He had space in front of him to drive at the Cardiff back four, and Crenshaw just stopped the move totally.
But now it's Glenn Johnson. Adding his support down that right side. Is he taking it too far? No, Kanu lurking in the centre. But out comes McNaughton. A good early pace to the game. Just a ticking off for Diarra. Hasselback, whose only success has been winning the Portuguese Cup with Boa Vista a few years back. But he wasn't thinking he would get another chance in a major cup final at this stage of his career. Roger Johnson with the free kick. Aiming for Hasselback. Campbell marking him tightly. Ledley. One of the young stars brought up through the ranks at Cardiff. Indeed, he's been associated with the club from the age of 9. Really has made outstanding progress. He's been linked with 1 or 2 Premier League teams, including Everton. And this is a showcase for him to underline his talents, as he did in the semi-final with that wonderful volley against Barnsley. Nwankwo Kanu. England fans will remember him only too well after his goal here at the European Championship qualifier, that decisive night. Mendes, the former Tottenham player, was short there. Well read by Ledley. And then the foul by Johnson. Barry, who was sent tumbling. McNaughton. Certainly no signs of Cardiff being overawed so far.
No, far from it. They've started very, very positive. I'm sure David Jones stood on the line there. He's more than pleased with the way they've opened it in this first 10 minutes, because it is a big occasion, as I mentioned before, but they've settled down, they've passed it well, they've competed, they've got in Portsmouth's faces, and even though Portsmouth are outnumbering them 3-2 in the centre of midfield, what Cardiff are doing well is when Portsmouth get that ball, one of the central strikers is just dropping off onto Mendes and stopping him having the freedom to pass it.
Glenn Leuven, pretty much a fixture in the team this season, mainly alongside Johnson here, at the expense of Darren Pearce, the club captain. Pearce is on the bench for Cardiff today. No Robbie Fowler, though, he didn't make it. There had been a suggestion that he would recover in time from a hip injury that's kept him out for some 5 months or so. But in the end, they couldn't take the gamble, couldn't take the risk. If they'd had an injury early in the match, he might have had to play for 85 minutes or so, and that was just not going to happen. Ryderson to Kratcher. Can always come inside onto that right foot when he can. This does mean they're a little narrow at times, Poppy. Sully Muntari. The Ghanaian can't fit his pass through though. And the counter-attack might just be on here. Let loose pass. Jimmy stretching those aging legs. He can't quite keep it alive.
We had all that rain before the game, didn't we? And the ball's skidding off that pitch, and the ball's not holding up for the players to get onto it, and that's why we're seeing one or two passes just skipping off and going out of play when without that rain, I think Hasselbank would possibly have got to that.
Up the pitch, let it be said, in fine condition here. Joe Jordan was saying to me this morning, we'll have no excuses about the surface. And he knows they need to play better than they did really in the semi-final. On the day, rather lucky in truth to come through against West Brom, who took the game to them at every opportunity. Just as Parry's doing here. Almost a hit there that might have had his shirt tucked as well, as James came out very, very quickly.
Well, there's a super save from James here, because Sol Campbell is caught totally the wrong side of the defender here, played down the side of him. He's not going to get to it, and it needs David James to come out and get that block on him.
Parry was the joint leading scorer for Cardiff this season with 11 goals. Whittingham! Deflected, but wide! What an escape there for Portsmouth. Peter Whittingham. I think the flag might have been up anyway.
That's a super opportunity, and in fact it's come off Parry. That's why it's gone for a goal kick.
Yeah.
Took deflection off Parry. If Parry could have missed, it would have been another testing save for David James, but super opportunity. And here we see the other chance there.
Is there a tug? Is there a pull?
I don't think it was 6-1. It would have been very harsh, to be fair, and Sol Campbell didn't moan either. He knew he defended poorly, and David James bailed him out.
But his team have made a vibrant start here, Cardiff City. But now a chance for Portsmouth to retaliate. Ben Johnson may be waiting for Sol Campbell to make his way forward and join Kanu up top. And Tucker is in there, and still Dan Distan, the other central defender, along with Campbell. Muntari has bent it in. The keeper had to respond. Kanu! Couldn't flick it over his head. Enkelman hurt him making that save. Here's Kratcher. Mendes to Diarra. Now Johnson again. This is promising for Pop here until it's broken up by Glenn Leuven. Almost got caught in possession. Lovely touch set from Sully Muntari. So cultured in the midfield for Portsmouth. Utaka being invited to go on. And Kanu outmanoeuvred. Pedro Mendes into Diarra. He scored in one of the earlier rounds for Pompey, but not this time.
Well, all that possession came from that free kick from Montari, wasn't it? It certainly was a good free kick, but certainly I'm not sure what Enkelman was doing there. He could have caught it, there was nobody around him, decided not to, and didn't even get a good parry on it. A little bit of sign of nerves there, didn't know where to come or not, decided to come, and then was very, very lucky to get away with it, because it's not a good parry, and on a bad day for you, that header goes in the net.
Campbell. Should be a goal kick, and indeed it is. It's certainly open so far. But there's sizzling atmosphere inside Wembley Stadium, beneath the arch. Fabio Capello is here. Your boss, of course. Ray, how are you getting on with him? Do you converse in Italian, sign language? What do you do?
Buongiorno, yes. No, he's fine. He's a very, very good man. He's very respectful, and he's picking things up very, very quickly.
I read in the paper, he told you he used to be paid in lira, and you said, where's that?
The old ones are always the best there, Peace.
Here's Johnson. We've done 14 of these cup finals together now. You should know, every now and again.
You throw one in, yes.
And you played in 6 of those. As you bore us with every year, but not this time. Tony Capaldi. There's McPhail, Cardiff's captain. Now Hariderson. Cratchar. Cutting in field. Let's come off McNaughton. Just as well too from Cardiff's perspective, as Montari was just behind him. Enkelman will always be remembered, I'm afraid, for that mistake he made in the Birmingham derby. Playing for Aston Villa, what, 6 years ago now? Can you forget it? Don't you believe it? Horrendous aberration, and it's on YouTube now, and they've had 200,000 hits. Mostly from Bernard Clements of London.
Well, we've all made them, and when you make them as bad as that, you have to live with them for a long time, that's a certainty.
They did ask him if he was bothered by it. He said, why should I worry about something that happened 5 years, 9 months, 3 weeks, 4 hours and 20 minutes ago? There's Capaldi, winding himself up for another long throw again. Nudged away by Johnson, but not very effectively. That was Leslie's pass. The good one too, Capaldi. Back defending is Kanu. And Diarra just managed to evade the attentions of Gavin Ray. He's some player, this boy, I can tell you.
No, he is an excellent player, Peter, you're right. And I was amazed that Arsenal and then Chelsea both let him go, because he has got some talent.
He just didn't play enough, did he? That was as simple as that.
That's
as far
right.
as he was concerned, anyway.
That's right. And he can play the holding role, which Mendes is doing today, or he can play in that breaking forward. He's got such quick feet, and he's a good passer of the ball as well. And you know, he's a tremendous acquisition for Portsmouth.
It's a foul on Stephen McPhail, a former Leeds United and Barnsley player. I remember him as a youngster at Leeds, and they really thought highly of him. George Graham, who was the manager at the time, said he's a Liam Brady in the making. Never quite lived up to those expectations. But he is certainly a key man here for Cardiff in this cup final, with his passing ability from midfield. Whittingham. Johnson was far post, and it will be a corner. He's got 7 goals this season, Roger Johnson. Certainly needs to be watched on these corners, well, this set piece here.
Well, Sol Campbell did well, watched it all away, because Johnson certainly was in a good position to nod it back across goal. Not to score, but certainly could have knocked it back into danger area.
Whittingham will take it. Looking for the likes of Johnson, and Luvens too. James has come and collected too. I was saying, a loser with Liverpool, also with Aston Villa in 2000. Enkelman was his backup that day. The goalkeeper at the other end this afternoon. And they lost to Chelsea. Di Matteo's goal. Montari. And as David hates to be reminded, he was at fault too with the Chelsea winner. Pedro Mendes. Maybe James able to score or two to settle at the age of 37. Cardiff free kick. A foul by Utaka. He started the season so well for Portsmouth. Didn't quite maintain those standards, in truth.
It was a poor touch which led to that challenge, wasn't it? And then the free kick. And as you mentioned before, you know, he started so well at the beginning of the season. The back end of the season has lost a little bit of form. It might be that his first season at this level started to take its toll on him.
I think the pace of the game, he was in France, of course, before that. Hasselback, no, he's given it away to Mendes. Now it's Diarra. A chance for Pompey here to launch an assault. Kratchar. Montari's ahead of him. This is Horiderson. Now Montari, good ball in for Kanu. Danger here, still Kanu. Surely, no! Off the post. What an opportunity there. It's a wonderful, wonderful footwork, and it deserved the goal, but he couldn't just stroke it home.
He can't believe it, can he? Wonderful move down this left-hand side here. Horiderson just slides a ball in there. And now the magic of Kanu. Quick feet, so it looks like he doesn't care. But it looked like he didn't care when he tried to put it in the net as well. But certainly wrong-footed the central defender, took it round Enkelman, no problem. And the goal's there gaping at him. How can he not score? But somehow he doesn't.
Well, it was a brilliant ball from Montari that found him, and Harry Redknapp can't believe it either. He had to score. But as you say, he looks almost lazy, so casual. He left Glenn Lubitz completely flat-footed. Embarrassingly so. Past the keeper as well, but then somehow, and only he can tell you how, he has failed to deliver the lead here for Portsmouth. The man who had a tap-in the semi-final. Joe Ledley. Johnson's quick as well, but Ledley brought down right on the edge of the box. This is going to be a fascinating confrontation between these two this afternoon.
It is, yeah. Both young players. Joe Ledley, lots of talk about him moving up into the Premiership. He's a really talented, confident player. And of course, Glenn Johnson in the England squad. You know, Capello certainly look at him as, you know, one who's got that opportunity to play at right back, and it is going to be a confrontation which is maybe going to be decisive, because Ledley is one of their most creative players out on that left-hand side.
Capaldi will take this. Hasselback has gone to the near post. That was Parry. Well worked free kick too. They didn't really pick him up then, Portsmouth. Mendes. And Kratchar. Sprinting forward here for Pompey. Utaka's up with it. Good challenge. And a very necessary one too from Capaldi. Horiderson. Now Montari. Who laid on that chance just minutes ago now then for Kanu, but somehow got away. Glenn Johnson. One of the real success stories for Pompey this season. Back in the England frame, of course. Now here's Parry again, threatening through the centre. Didn't quite have the pace to get away from Sol Campbell. But it's a corner.
Certainly Cardiff feel that the central two defenders play very square and that they can get balls over the top of them or down the side of them. There's 3 or 4 occasions they've tried it now, and they keep getting a little bit of success for it, and here's another bit by getting the corner here.
And he does have some acceleration about him, Paul Parry, the Welsh international, really stretching Campbell. Pompey's captain, James, seemed to be impeded then. No complaint though from the England goalkeeper. How much pressure is on him now, Ray, for the England senior jersey?
Well, he's playing exceptionally well, as everybody knows. He hasn't played for about 3 weeks with that calf injury. He's fit again now. He's in the squad, but obviously young Joe Hart's had an exceptional season for Manchester City, and Capello's brought him in. Chris Kirkland has had a very, very good end to the season as well. So, but when you're in charge of the England jersey, it's for somebody to take it off you, and certainly he's in charge of it at this moment.
There you are, you heard it from the horse's mouth, England's goalkeeping coach. But will it be your decision? Will it ever?
That's why they pay the man the money they pay him. I don't make those decisions.
Well, these two teams have made the decision to attack each other, which is what we were hoping for. Gavin Ray, the muscle in midfield for Cardiff. He's a Scottish international, one of the Scottish clan in the Welsh capital. He and the fullback McNaughton have been talking this week about the number of fans and friends they've suddenly found up in Scotland who wanted tickets for the game. Went over invitingly and just wide. Johnson on the end of it. I was saying earlier on, he does pose a real threat on these balls tossed into the area.
Super ball in again, but he's up above Distan and Sol Campbell. Gets a good header. James is not going to get near it, but thankfully for Portsmouth, just over the top. But super balls that Whittingham's knocking in there, giving the central defenders every chance to attack that ball.
He actually played for a spell under Tony Adams at Wickham. Adams, of course, who is the right-hand man now for Harry Redknapp at Portsmouth. And Tony was saying this week, he remembers he had fire in his belly. Actually played him up front a few times too. So he saw some attacking prowess in him. And he's certainly been to the forefront this season with those 7 goals that he scored, including the one that helped to embarrass Middlesbrough in the quarter-finals. Campbell in just ahead then of Parry. Sol Campbell, a winner of the FA Cup with Arsenal. Played in 2002. He missed out in the following year because of suspension, and he was an unused sub in 2005, so he says he has mixed memories of playing in this occasion. Johnson venturing forward again. Whittingham, he can't pick a pass. Campbell was in the way. Mendes. Alassane Diarra, the French international. Never on the losing side yet in an FA Cup tie. Cratcher, good footwork from him. Whittingham in the way, in goes Mendes. But a good, strong, firm challenge from Whittingham, the former Aston Villa player. And there's another one then in David James. Played in '96 for Liverpool, David James, and we all remember the cream suits. He says he wasn't responsible for that. He says it's all down to John Barnes. I know in John's fashion sense, he's probably right. Robbie Fowler's been winding David James up all week saying it's all your fault. No one remembers the match, just the suits.
Whoever's decision it wasn't a good one, that was a certainty.
He's still got it though, the suit is in his wardrobe, he says. Hasselback, it's a good touch off as well. McNaughton. Hasselback looking to attack it in the centre. And get some elevation too. Hoping his time isn't up with Cardiff. Hasselback, he wants to play on. And I think he's triggered a clause in his contract that says he can because he's played a certain number of games. And then he wants to go into management. He's been very encouraged by Paul Itz's efforts and success at MK Dons. Here is Hasselback now. Got the ground rather easily. Getting no sympathy from referee Dean. Kanu. His telescopic legs that took it clear. How on earth did he fail to score? Diarra now on the prowl again. Somebody said he's like Paul Makaleli with a forward pass. He's certainly got so many assets, Diarra. It's Gavin Ray making his presence felt in midfield as he clashed down with Mendes.
Well, you spoke about Diarra before there. I mean, here's the tackle there, just caught Mendes. You talk about Diarra, you think about Arsenal now, having lost Flamini. What an asset Diarra would have been to Arsenal next season now.
Well, he just wasn't getting enough games, that was his view. Wanted to leave, Diarra. Same thing happened at Chelsea, although he does appear to remember Jose Mourinho rather more fondly than Arsene Wenger. That was dished out with a free kick. Heading for Utaka. They really need a big performance from Utaka today, you feel, with his ability to give them balance down the right. Well, the fans of both these teams have been so eagerly awaiting this occasion. And they're saying, who needs the big four? Kanu trying to fend off Johnson, who's having none of it. Utaka just overhitting it in search of Kanu, who's complaining bitterly here to the referee that he was being touched.
Kanu would be better getting on with the game there. He's complaining to the referee, and actually the ball from Utaka was not the worst ball. If he'd been on his toes and been positive, he just might have got to that.
Hasselbank, who's kept going well too. Parries in the middle, still Jimmy Floyd. Hasselbank almost laid it into the path end of Whittingham. Forward by Johnson. Again, Poppy being fully extended on the willpower of this Cardiff team. Ryderson to Kanu. He's wasted the best chance of the game so far, but here's Kanu again. And he's been an FA Cup winner with Arsenal. Of course, he is such a decorated footballer, all his success in Europe and with the Olympics too with Nigeria.
Well, he's gone past McNaughton like he's not there then, but then I think he's tried to bend that ball into the far corner, but didn't get any bend whatsoever and was quite embarrassed by it by the end. There's somebody there who I think Portsmouth sadly missed if he's not playing. He does create and score goals for them.
Jermaine Defoe, cup-tied, having appeared in the competition for Tottenham. He's been a regular in the side in the Premier League. Kanu has had to play second fiddle, really. Hasn't had as many outings. Indeed, lately they've gone with two up, haven't they, with Barrett has played as well. David Nugent from time to time. They're both on the bench, incidentally. It was a bit of a clumsy challenge on Kanu. The first foul play with Ajax, that wonderful team in Holland. Diarra. Pedro Mendes. Now it's Johnson. Looking to take on Joe Ledley. He's done really well too, and Eckelman forced to punch it away, then had to react quickly, and he did too, the Finnish goalkeeper. Montari. Pettler's going for it.
Well, we've seen Mendes score from that sort of distance in the league this season. He does have a tremendous strike from 25-30 yards. All comes from good play from Johnson here. Enkelman again not happy to catch the ball in these conditions. And he finished up with, certainly with Mendes stinging Enkelman's hands there with a strop, thankfully, straight at him.
He has never scored an FA Cup goal, Pedro Mendes. And he's never afraid to have a shy at goal. A couple of years back when they were struggling to stay in the Premier League, I remember he got the goal that changed the course of their season, really, as Harry Redknapp turned it all around. Nico Croucher. He'll have a try from long range too. He can rest assured of that, if he can, but now the flag is up against Kanu.
Yes, and no doubt, just offside there. But it is a little bit worrying for Cardiff that Kanu gets himself one against one against anybody in the penalty area, because as we've seen already on 2 or 3 occasions, if he gets a situation like that, he's more than capable of turning people, getting the other side of him, and also missing open goals.
He's featured in 2 previous finals, but only for a total of 14 minutes as a late substitute. Here he is now, stretching those long legs. Up comes Johnson, but the decision has gone against him. But they do plan to get hit forward down that right side whenever they can, Pompey. Johnson, whose career seemed to be stagnating at Chelsea after his big money move from West Ham. But very much back in business now down at Fratton Park. Harry Redknapp will tell you he thinks he's the best right back in the country, but then I suppose he would. Utaka. Diarra. He's got wonderful control. Utaka now. Maybe a chance to show that pace. Options in the middle with Kanu and Kratchar and Montari. Enkelman half saved him and it's turned in. Kanu has got it this time. It was a fumble, I'm afraid, by the keeper. And Kanu, who missed an absolute sitter earlier on, has made amends.
Well, to be fair, it's been coming. Enkelman hasn't looked confident right from the start. Utaka out on that far side, just kept hold of the ball, kept trying to get a little bit of space to get round Capaldi there. Eventually there he just creates half a yard for himself, drives it in. That's a poor parry from Enkelman. And of course, Kanu has seen all the game that he keeps parrying and blocking things, and that's another simple goal for him here at Wembley, exactly like he got in the semi-final.
From about the same distance too. It has to go down as an offensive mishap. The first goal that he personally has conceded at the FA Cup this year. Enkelman having arrived on loan from Blackburn just a few months ago. Kanu on the prowl again for a buoyant Portsmouth. The Premier League team have the advantage now. Glenn Johnson. And it will be a corner.
It's how Cardiff now can react to that. Are they going to be positive and still believe in themselves, because they've done really well for this first 37 minutes, but now they're behind. How are they going to react to that?
Campbell's made a run across the box. It might have let in Hariderson behind him. Away by Peter Whittingham. Montari. Now Diarra to Kanu. No, Luvats was at first though. John Utaka. Now Jimmy Floyd Hasselbeck on the rebound here for Cardiff. Runs straight into Campbell. He has enjoyed a new lease of life under Harry Redknapp. Montari on that cultured left foot. Leaving it here for Kratchar. There's plenty of invention, plenty of enterprise in this Portsmouth team. And they certainly have the mercurial talent of this fellow Kanu. Mendes. Gavin Ray striding away here then for Cardiff. Parry's pulled away to the far side. He's onside here. Distant was playing him on. Still Paul Parry. And then McNaughton will come racing up in support. Just couldn't keep it alive.
Yes, Portsmouth at 6s or 7s there. Sol Campbell stayed up. Distant pull dropped off. I'm not sure if this is a shot or a ball to the far post, but Norton can't quite get to it. It's just a little bit too much pace. Comes off the turf very quickly and shoots up and actually hits him on the shin rather than the boot.
He was a scorer on the last day of the league season, Kevin McNaughton. And also won in the FA Cup against Hereford early on. He put for his own goal as well against the non-leaguers of Chase Town. He's had a mixed ride in the competition, but he almost wrote his name in headlines then as he sprinted forward. Yeah, he'll be very disappointed with himself there, Peter Enkelman. Number 2 to Brad Friedel up at Blackburn.
No, it's a ball he's got to touch and he's got to knock out a play. Can't possibly knock it up in the air there when his body's around him.
He does blow hot and cold, doesn't he, Kanu? But you can't doubt his skill, his talent. And the Pompey fans now, great voice away to my right. Kanu. The whole place is absolutely jumping today. Whittingham. Now Tony Capaldi, Northern Ireland international. Whittingham's mistake, that might yet be costly. Diarra. Montari's ahead of him. The time for Johnson to clear. Only 2 Diarra. Trying to weave his magic. And no free kick given. Whittingham to Hasselbank. I think that was handled then. It was by Mendes. Not that he seemed to know too much about it. He's only recently come back from an injury. He had a foot operation, Mendes. But has reclaimed his place in the team then at the expense of the Senegalese international, Papa Bouba Diop. One of the players who had suffered a loss in form and was left out indeed for the last league game, Diop. Ryderson to Montari. He says he's a bad loser. Well, at the moment his team are in front. But with 3 minutes of the first half to go, no question that Cardiff have had their moments too. Capaldi, McPhail, caught in the face then surely. Martin is doing his best here to allow the advantage, but the Pompey players are saying, no, hang on. He was struck in the face. This chap is called John Portsmouth Football Club, would you believe? What a character he is. And you can imagine how much he is relishing this occasion, and this moment in particular. He's in the right place this time, Kanu. And rather more clinical than he had been minutes earlier. Uncharted territory for Harry Redknapp, 25 years in football management. The semi-final was his first trip to Wembley in an official capacity, and now he's back seeking then his first major trophy. And I wonder how many times he's reflected in recent weeks on that huge decision to stay at Fratton Park rather than accept overtures from Newcastle. Meantime, it's a split lip for Stephen McPhail. I thought he ran the game in the semi-final. Outstanding too up at Middlesbrough in the previous round. And they need him here now, right on top of his game, if they are to wrest the initiative away from Pompey. Cratcher up to Kanu. You never quite know what he's going to come up with next. Cratcher again. Great interest, he says, back home in Croatia in the English Cup final. They follow it avidly from year to year. So far by Johnson. And this time challenge on Joe Ledley.
Well, you can see there, I think he goes in to win the ball, misses it, and quite rightly stamps on his ankle there. And I think Johnson was frustrated there. Obviously, he's miscontrolled the ball, allowed that opportunity to go there to Joe Ledley, and he followed through there, and the referee was quite right to call a free kick.
which Tony Capaldi is shaping up to take here for the Bluebirds. Albeit not in blue today. That's a foul on Johnson. 1 extra minute at the end of the first half. 4 stoppages. Added on by Mark Dean, and he's shown the yellow card. Well, we're seeing this replay to Herman Hreidarsson. I think for protesting. Peter Whittingham is going to take it. Over 160 countries tuning into this FA Cup final today, all over the globe. Whittingham taking centre stage at the moment here. And got all the way through and came off Johnson in the end. Corner to Cardiff, looking to strike here and equalise just before the break. They're not going to have too long. Campbell keeping a watchful eye on Johnson. James came but didn't quite collect. And then it's Lubens! No, the whistle had already gone. That will not count. Dismay, despair for Cardiff. But I clearly heard the whistle, even in this incredible noise at Wembley today. Foul on the keeper?
Well, it must have been for a free kick then, because certainly David never had both hands on the ball after that initial incident, because we couldn't hear it there. Certainly he was knocked, but he only had one hand on the ball anyway. And I think, to be fair, it was a handball there, possibly.
After that, yeah.
I think that's probably what it's been called for, because David only went with one hand for the cross to start off with. Then when it bounced down, only got one hand to it again. But maybe there was just a handball there, and that's what the referee's blown for.
By Glenn Lubens. Hreidarsson was flattened in the incident just before it struck the arm of Lubens. But Mark Dean had blown for the infringement. Whether it's for the handball, only he will know. But certainly, as you were saying, James didn't have real control of that situation, did he?
No, he certainly didn't. So I can only think that was for that handball.
But it's advantage Portsmouth at the halfway stage. Harry Redknapp's team are in the driving seat thanks to Kanu, who earlier had somehow contrived to miss the easiest of chances that he'd set up for himself, in truth, with his magical footwork. But there he was this time to guide it home, and it would have to go down, I'm afraid, as a goalkeeping error from Peter Enkelman. But Cardiff have shown enough in this first half to underline that they are very much in the cup final. But at the halfway stage, they trail Portsmouth by 1-0. Well, they do have the advantage at this stage. Then Portsmouth, their fans dancing in celebration already away to my right. But there's much more yet to be played in this FA Cup final. Portsmouth some 24 positions higher than Cardiff in the league pyramid, so both favourites coming into the final, given their Premier League status. And whatever the outcome, for the first time in 13 years, the FA Cup will be won by a team outside the Big Four of Manchester United, Chelsea, Arsenal and Liverpool. And I think so far, Ray Clements, it's not been a final that has let us down in any way.
No, it's been very enjoyable. Both sides had a go at each other. With Cardiff have certainly done very, very well in that first half and can feel unlucky to be a goal down, I think. But, Portsmouth, once they got the goal, the last 10 minutes did start to pass it around, and I think Cardiff need to start very, very positively in this second half to get at Portsmouth. Otherwise, the confidence will flow really into Portsmouth, and they might then start showing why they're a good Premiership side.
Cardiff still hoping to become only the 9th team from outside the top division to win the FA Cup. Before West Ham in 1980, it was Southampton 4 years earlier against Manchester United, and perhaps, well, most famously of all in '73, Sunderland's victory over the Leeds United team, at the time regarded as the strongest in the land. Don't write Cardiff off yet, is the message. Joe Letley making instant progress into Portsmouth territory. Certainly forced Glenn Johnson to respond. One of the first second-tier team to reach the final since Millwall 4 years ago, beaten at the Millennium Stadium by Manchester United. Capaldi's long throw crossed into the box. Good challenge then by Gavin Ray, in typically a determined fashion. The former Glasgow Ranger, hoping he won't be a double disappointment after Rangers defeated the UEFA Cup final early this week. He was hoping to get there, but of course was wrapped up in Cardiff's preparations for this game. Winning the FA Cup, a passport into Europe for both these teams. Cardiff will be allowed to play if they are successful today. The FA have been prepared to alter their regulations. They wouldn't have qualified in the past for the UEFA Cup as an English League representative. Just to confirm, no changes for either team so far. There might be a change of the ball. Mike Dean isn't happy. Didn't see anyone complaining, did you, Ray?
I didn't actually, no, but maybe when the referee picked it up, he felt that there was a little bit of air gone out of it.
Perhaps it was one he got signed by the players beforehand. He didn't want it ruined. Campbell's header out. Here's Kanu. Now Utaka. He has been saying in the build-up to this game, the Pompey fans have not yet seen the best of me. That was Campbell. Counter though by Glenn Lubitz. We've had a couple of busloads of fans come over here today. It's a boy back from Holland, the former Feyenoord player. He did feature in the Dutch Cup final. They lost to Utrecht when he played. Herman Hreidersen. A player who's had his ups and downs since coming to England over a decade ago. He suffered 4 relegations from the Premier League with his various clubs. He's certainly found a more stable situation with Portsmouth. We've had this 8th place finish in the Premier League. Diarra outgunned, but unfairly so. But he was really buzzing in that first half. Hopes to be playing, of course, in the European Championship finals for his cut through France. Johnson looking to float this one over. Heading for Kanu and Hreidersen behind him. Not the best of headers away then by Lubitz. And then Capaldi. Campbell is there. McPhail tidy on the ball, tidy in possession. Capaldi. Then to Lubitz. Johnson stretching. Off goes Lemley, and he was upended there. Dumped on the ground by Utaka. A very poor challenge from the Nigerian.
Well, you have to say that Joe Ledley, we spoke earlier in the game how he's having a real battle with Glenn Johnson. I think he's starting to win that battle, and Cardiff need to get the ball to him as often as possible, because if there is a weakness, it seems to be that Portsmouth are struggling to cope with this boy down the left-hand side.
We know he is a match winner. Peter Whittingham on the ball here then for Cardiff. James stays on his line. Side netting. A Cardiff fans were off out of their seats there in celebration of a goal.
Well, obviously Roger Johnson thought there that it was headed against, in fact it was headed onto the back of Sol Campbell, I think, and therefore that's why Johnson was moaning. There it goes off the back of Sol Campbell's head, and Johnson can't believe the linesman over the far side didn't see that.
Should have been a corner. There is Johnson now at the other end on defensive duty against Kanu. He did seem to catch him then.
Yeah, just moved his body into him while he's off balance, and they're painful those. It takes all the wind out of you when you land like that, and we'll be breathing heavy for a couple of minutes, I think.
Not too much attempt by Kanu to play the ball. Johnson, who was Cardiff's Player of the Year last season, and has continued pretty much in the same vein throughout this campaign. Up goes Johnson. Then Johnson of Portsmouth, that is. Newcomen. Southampton had a Finn playing a goal for them, Antiniemi, in 2003 when they lost to Arsenal. I think he went off halfway through the second half. Paul Jones came on to take his place. That was McNaughton losing out. Montari. Good touch. But he couldn't keep it going then, so here's Jimmy Floyd Hasselbaink. Very quickly closed down by Distan. Who's the player's choice of player of the season at Portsmouth. A lovely flick there by Cratchit. It could be in here. Kanu! Oh! It just squirt wide then by a deflection. It should have been two really for Portsmouth.
Well, wonderful play here again by Diari. Plays it out there, good back heel by Crankier. He just picks out Kanu here and really miskicks it. He doesn't make good contact with it. If he does, I think he scores. But he just scuffed it, and luckily Lubin's got a block on it.
Well, Portsmouth may have a corner, but nobody seems to want to take it. Finally, Montari is trotting across here. Pulled every inch of the way by the Pompey fans. Levelling in their team's performance here as they strive for the cushion of a second goal. Newcomen getting some distance on his punch, and he's found Jimmy Floyd Hasselbaink. That's a foul, surely.
Could well be a booking. Could well be a booking for that.
On Whittingham from the Croat Cratchit. He has indeed been yellow carded. Not so much argument about that.
No, he knew exactly what he was doing there. Certainly Whittingham had beaten him, he was beyond him, and he just said, "You're going nowhere." There he goes. There's only one thought in Crankdale's mind: Whittingham's not going any further with the ball.
Hoping to be the first Croat to win the FA Cup. He had one participant in the past, Sergio Maric, for Newcastle back in the late 1990s. When Newcastle lost to Manchester United, he came on as a sub. Montari. That was Cratchit's pass, releasing Diop. Denied their route to goal by Glenn Lubens. Ledley. Now McPhail. The Republic of Ireland international. A good ball as well for Hasselbaink. And really composed work back there, Silly Montari. Utaka. And Kanu right up top. Not too much support here, Utaka. It looked rather casual anyway. On by Ledley. Campbell is there though to sweep up. Reassuring presence in defence for Portsmouth. He's had this rock-hard partnership with Distan. Cratchit stopped in his tracks this time. Pompey's free kick. Rubens protesting his innocence.
Well, again, it's 6-1. It's half dozen the other, isn't it?
Wasn't it?
It was. Sort of Lubin certainly got his arm across the chest there of Crankier, which stopped him going forward, but also Crankier was having a little pull at him as well.
Montari's kick to Pedro Mendes. The former Tottenham man. Here's Johnson. Taking on Ledley, who did appear to slide him down there. They're having a right old tussle, these two, Ledley and Johnson. And he's certainly earmarked for Johnson as well, but Ledley is earmarked for an outstanding future, no two ways about that. Cardiff through and through, but maybe ready to move on in the not too distant future. Enkelman's come for it. Parry lost control. Diarra. Now Montari. He's hit it well! Only just over there. Really can't strike a ball from distance.
Well, he's got a deadly left foot there, and certainly got right through that ball there, but Enkelman in goal watched it all the way and was very confident. He was right in line with it. He always thought that was going over, never made any great attempt to get to it. He was confident it was always rising and not going to dip beyond him.
Deadly from long range, and of course so composed, but 12 yards from the penalty spot, Montari. And a quarter-final win over Manchester United at Old Trafford. Let's not forget that. People say they've only played lower division teams, as they are today in Dave Jones's side, but they beat Manchester United away for the first time in over 50 years. En route to this final. Where they go? Cardiff's top scorer in the competition. Joe Ledley. Now Cratchit. It might open up for Pompey here. Montari to Kanu. But alert defending by Roger Johnson. Eddie Adams alongside Harry Redknapp there, 3 times an FA Cup winner, captain of course of Arsenal. For Ryderson. With Johnson for company. Now Kanu. Glenn Johnson. It's Montari, and then Osama Diarra, dispossessed though by Gavin Ray. Ledley was bundled aside there. He's a marked man, isn't he? Joe Ledley.
Well, they certainly know how dangerous he can be, and they're making sure that he doesn't get a run at anyone at the moment. As soon as he tries to get into his stride, somebody's just body checking him or knocking him over, and they're getting free kicks, but not too many in really dangerous situations.
It was Ledley's ball there. Lovely homegrown lad. It was only about 18 months ago. He stopped going to the ground on match day by bus. And he passed his driving test. He's got his own car now. There he is on the ball. And that was playing for, I think it's Utaka, isn't it? Yeah. Mark King letting play go on for the moment. Montari's having none of that. Past Ledley as if he wasn't there. And then got caught and was sent flying, John Utaka. And don't forget Cardiff have young Arwen Ramsey among their subs, a 17-year-old wonder boy as he's known. Some youngsters coming into this game. When did you play your first and last games in Ray? You were about 22, was it your first one?
I think it was 22 and then 38 my last one, I think, something like that. So.
41?
Yeah. I wish it was, I tell you.
So you're older than David James, but not the oldest, I don't think?
No, I don't think so. I think David Seaman played after me, I think. It looks like there is some action on the Cardiff bench, as though there is going to be a change from David Jones. He's not totally happy with the way this second half has started and feels he needs to inject something new.
And it will be Arwen Ramsey. If Cardiff should go on to win today, he would be the youngest ever winner after Paul Allen back in 1980. And West Ham beat Arsenal. Liverpool King's header and all that. Remember, I just started out in radio that year, and I had to interview Paul Allen afterwards, and he just kept crying and ran away from me. Said he wanted to be with his mates. 17 years old. Hasselback. Then Ledley, a parry, offside, flags up, over on the far touchline. It will be Ramsey then to come on in place of Peter Whittingham. James Jones is making the change. Rambo, they call him, the man coming on. Only a year ago, he was taking his GCSEs. A boy from Caerphilly. Welsh speaking, and he took all his examinations, but one in Welsh. He is some talent. And it would seem he is being lined up for a move to Manchester United, no less, come the summer. So it might just be his last appearance, this, for Cardiff. Dave Jones has tried to use him sparingly, tried to keep him out of the limelight a bit, but it's not been easy. Not the way that he's been playing when he has been introduced by Cardiff. Remember when he came on in the semi, he played at fullback for a while, really versatile. But on in midfield here for Peter Whittingham. Have you seen much of him, Ro?
I haven't seen a lot of him. I've heard a lot about him, certainly, and I'm really looking forward to seeing him playing this last half an hour of the cup final here. But obviously David Jones feels that they're not creating enough down that side. Whittingham maybe started very well, but hasn't maybe started so well this second half, and they need those fresh legs to try and get at Portsmouth, because Portsmouth now are starting to get control of the game, pass it around, and move the Cardiff players around without the ball, which is always much more tiring on this Wembley pitch. So they somehow need to get more of the ball.
Johnson for Portsmouth. Lubens was in the way. Well, they say of Ramsey, he could be another Steven Gerrard in the making. Time will tell. But certainly the big clubs are having a good look at him. It would seem that Manchester United are favourites as things stand. Montari working it on then. Diarra, Montari again. Kanu, good football here. Diarra in the middle. He made so many of those darting runs forward in support of Kanu. But McNaughton just about had the measure of him. Goes Distan. When you look at turning points in Portsmouth season, that was one surely. Distan's challenge on Michael Carrick, and that win at Old Trafford. Last-ditch challenge, almost on the goal line. But the defenders so heroically on that occasion. Portsmouth, they might just have to do some more defending here before the day is out. Cardiff, you can rest assured, will give it everything now. Give it their best shot in the last, well, less than half an hour now. McPhail, their pass master in chief. Up by Luvats. No, Ramsey couldn't keep it going. Ledley, on to Ramsey. He turned back into trouble in the shape of Lassana Diarra. Montari. That's Cratchar to Kanu. Such elegant control. Did that beautifully there. His goal still separating the two teams. Utaka to Glenn Johnson. Forced back by Ledley. Played by David James, the only player outside the big clubs who got into the PFA team of the season. But no surprise on the back of his extraordinary campaign for Portsmouth. He was outstanding. Has he got better with age, David James?
I think his last 2 years certainly have been the most impressive throughout his career. He seems to have, mastered most of those aberrations that he used to have, where he made errors out of nothing. And he's been working with a sports psychologist in this last couple of years, and it seems to have helped him tremendously. And nobody's ever doubted the agility and the ability that he's had. But it's just those unforced errors that have always been in doubt for him. But his last couple of years, they've still been there, but they're few and far between. Everybody makes them, but the better ones make few, and he certainly has made very few in this last couple of years.
It was certainly a costly error from Dave Jones's goalkeeper, Peter Enkelman, that gifted that first goal to Kanu in this cup final. Lusana Diarra, then Montari. This is Kanu. Diarra again, and he's seen the run there of Nico Cratchit. So too with McNaughton. That's good defending by him. But a rather loose clearance straight to Kanu. Pedro Mendes.
I just wonder how much long they'll persevere with Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank, because the second half really has been anonymous, and they really do need to get some help to parry. And certainly Hasselbank, for me, hasn't done as much as I would like somebody of his experience and ability to do for the team.
I think they will be making a change pretty soon. Steve Thompson is being readied. Meantime, it's Diarra on the charge again. Now Cratchit trying to steady himself. Kevin Ray in with that vital challenge there. Out comes Norton. There is Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank. Thompson, the former Glasgow Rangers front man. Been rather in and out of the team for Cardiff all season. Of course, they had the injury to Robbie Fowler, who's not played for 5 months now. And Parry actually was pushed up front. It seemed to work, the partnership with Hasselbank. There's going to be a change today, and also for Portsmouth, because Nugent will be introduced here. David Nugent.
Coming off the field, number 17, John Utaka.
On for John Utaka. Well, he's had his injuries, setbacks this season, really, David Nugent. Never really got a run in the side, though, has he?
No, he hasn't. But to be fair to the boy, there's a couple of times the people have wanted him out on loan. They've tried to sell him in January, and he said, no, I want to stay here and I want to try and make a go of it. And he's got himself a reward now by coming on in the cup final, albeit he'll just come on this right-hand side here where Utaka had just gone off.
And he got the winner at Ipswich early on in the competition. Certainly got plenty of goals during his time with Preston. Hasn't quite cut it as yet with Premier League as Portsmouth. But as I was saying, in fairness to him, he has had injuries. And a fair bit of competition too. Out by Distan. These two pillars of strength back there for Portsmouth, Distan and Campbell. It's hard to ruffle their feathers. Let's see what young Ramsey can do here. Campbell always the favourite to get there ahead of Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank. Nugent. Bundled over by Gavin Ray. So here is Thompson. Let's hope it's not the last we see of Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank. He wants to go on playing. Whether he stays with Cardiff remains to be seen. I think one more season and then, well, he will call it a day and move into management, he hopes. But he's given us an awful lot of entertainment down the years. Just found it a bit too hard going today, I think, against Pompey.
He did, yes. And this boy, Steve Thompson, big, powerful lad who can hold the ball up, win balls in the air, and hopefully give some support to Parry, because unfortunately for Jimmy, it was maybe a game too far from today, I think.
Thompson, who is a Scottish international, he gets 6 goals during the season, albeit as a bit part player, really. Pedro Mendes, who I think has justified his inclusion by Harry Redknapp today at the expense of Dion. Nugent now on the prowl here and forcing the save. He got his angles right that time, Peter Enkelman.
Well, to be fair to Nugent, he got himself in that position there. He couldn't see anything else that was on. He thought, well, I'll have a pop. Enkelman maybe not been in the best of form, and forced him into another parrying save. But good power, good direction from Nugent.
Diarra with a corner, heading to locate the likes of Campbell, Ryderson in the middle. And there's Johnson. I think Ryderson was too far away from applying a finishing touch there.
No, Ryderson held his head in his hands there, because he thought if he'd have realised that Johnson was going to actually win that header, he probably would have finished up with a tap in into the net. But didn't react quick enough, and it went harmlessly past the post. Here we see Nugent's shot there, bags of power, good direction, but Enkelman in a good position and makes it a really comfortable save.
Less than 20 minutes to go, and you just have the feeling at this stage that Portsmouth are looking the more likely scorers. This might just be the cue for some kind of response here then from Cardiff. We've had to counter huge financial problems, fighting for their very existence at one stage. So the cup run has been so welcome for them. A real lift for everyone involved. Gavin Rayner had a couple of chances, I remember, in the semi-final here. Diarra, Cranshaw. And now Ramsey, on to Ledley. Not too convincing though, not this time.
No, that was the first sign of frustration, I would say, that Ledley for the first time had a good 10 yards of space in front of him to decide what to go and do with it. Does he want to take it at the heart of the Portsmouth defence? Was there a pass on? But he took on the shot, which really was, for a goalkeeper of David James's ability to try and beat him from 30 yards like that, I think you're expecting an awful lot.
Doug Jones had never taken a team to Wembley before the semi-final. Even a couple of semis. Managed Stockport in the League Cup back in the late 90s. And of course, he had success with Wolves taking them to promotion from the Championship. Rubens seemed to lose his bearings there a little, but the free kick has gone Cardiff's way. Portsmouth edging towards victory, but not there yet. Thompson making a nuisance of himself. Ledley preparing to take this corner kick. Johnson on the edge of the penalty box, looking to make his run inside it. There he is. But no accuracy on it. Head to the floor. And that was half a chance.
Disappointed he hasn't got it on target, but to be fair, they just make it really difficult for him to get over the top of them, and just can't direct it. Sol Campbell, big, strong, jumps into him and makes it really difficult for Johnson to actually get the direction, although he got the power.
And just a little warning, a reminder to Pompey, their hands are not on the trophy yet. And Johnson, an awkward-looking challenge, but he managed to smuggle it away. And then the wrong ball in search of Thompson. Well, we'll bring a touch of belligerence to their attacking play now, in terms of his physical presence. And he's resigned to losing Aaron Ramsey. He knows that, Dave Jones. He wouldn't want to stand in his way either. How could I stop him playing in the Premier League, he said. Stop him playing with the likes of Ronaldo and Rooney next season, given the chance. And of course it will be money in the bank too for Cardiff. Maybe around 10 million. Nugent, playing a bit of a lone furrow and getting nowhere. Ramsey from Ray's pass. Never too far away from the thick of the action, Gavin Ray. This is Thompson. It's off Campbell. They like free kicks, these throws. But Tony Capaldi. The goal in the semi-final came from one of them. Poppy struggling to get it away. Capaldi again. Plenty up there still for Cardiff. But it's Horizon underneath it. And McNaughton for Cardiff, he seems to be struggling at the moment. Not looking too mobile. The Scottish defender, former Aberdeen man. Johnson, they want him in the middle now. Gray, and McPhail, and Capaldi. The Cardiff fans just sensing here their team might be able to create something, but not that way they won't. Not outclassed, so that's for sure. Even though they are trailing, they might have conceded more. They are still very much in this cup final. Now Mendes is going to be replaced here by Dion. We thought it would be the other way around at the start, at least I did. I had heard something else, so you weren't surprised that Mendes started, but here we are now with Dion coming on anyway to take his place, Ray.
Well, obviously, I would imagine Harry's now looking at Cardiff. They're really pushing on now, and Diop's got strength, he can tackle, he can head, and he's got power to break forward if need be. And I would imagine he's just trying to shore up things now. He knows that he's got that 1-0 win. Although Cardiff are pushing forward, they're not creating anything, no clear-cut opportunities, and he's just going to have to deal with him in midfield and win the battle in there.
Ramsey, and they've got some powerful athletes in this Portsmouth team. With a big stretch now. No room for error from Sylvain Distin. He's very angry at the way that Portsmouth finished the season, the way they fell away towards the last. He was determined they would come back in style today. Oh, the bounce went over the top. Might have gone absolutely anywhere there from Roberts.
Well, he's got across the front of Horizon, and then Horizon will be disappointed with himself that he got that half a yard, and Lubens will be disappointed he headed it too well into the ground because James's left-hand side was wide open. He gets across there, he gets a good header, but too far into the ground and over the bar. That's a golden opportunity for them.
Didn't score throughout the campaign, throughout the league season, Glenn Lubens. But close there to bringing his team level. Here he is again now. Ball by Johnson. Thompson up front, but this down, getting it ahead of him. Signing he's been Sylvain Distin, a free transfer after being released by Manchester City. He knows a bargain, Harry, doesn't he? No question about it. He has that ability to find players and to improve them. Well, Robbie Fowler not having the opportunity then to strut his stuff today. Having been out for so long, they just couldn't risk him, and I think they left the decision to him, really, as to whether he could take his place on the bench. Meantime, Harry Redknapp and Tony Adams plotting Cardiff's downfall now. And plotting Portsmouth's success, they hope, in the last 10 minutes. Can they see it out? Ledley. Taking on Johnson for the umpteenth time. And he was just about strong enough then, the England defender.
Yeah, to be fair to Glenn Johnson, he did well there. Ledley running at him, knocked the ball the other side of him. And Johnson used his experience in terms of knowing just get his body in between Ledley's body and the ball, and there was no way Ledley could get at it, and just calmly ushered it out for a goal kick.
Ray Jones and Terry Burton there as coach wondering what they can do now to swing this Cardiff's way. It's still tight in the 127th FA Cup final, the second back at Wembley, the new Wembley, after that rather sterile game between Chelsea and Manchester United last year. It certainly has some entertainment, some excitement in this one, albeit just the one goal, scored by Kanu, just over 10 minutes from half-time. Is it going to be enough for Ryderson? In goes McNaughton. Ramsey, he plays with no fear. I suppose you don't at 17. He plays with bags of talent as well.
Well, I think you have every opportunity to play with fear in the cup final. He's come on in this 30 minutes he's been on, or 20 minutes at this moment. He's shown, as you rightly say, he's prepared to take on anybody and try anything out there.
Johnson is the big threat on that near post. He won't reach that though. Sol Campbell made sure of that. Back in by Ramsey, Campbell's there again. Such defiance from the Pompey captain, hoping he's going to lift that trophy in a few minutes' time. Bradshaw. Now it's Kanu to take it on and take defenders on. And he's a game and plucky fullback, Kevin McNaughton. Absolutely exhausted.
Yeah, it looks like a little bit of the old Wembley cramp might have set in with some 10 minutes to go. He's covered some miles there this afternoon, McNaughton. He really has. He's got up and down that pitch, but now finding it a little bit of a struggle, but he's a strong character, and he'll just keep going as long as he possibly can.
Pompey, 7 minutes, plus any time that Mike Dean adds on from glory.
Just the other fear for Cardiff as well, as they're pushing so many men forward now to try and get this equalised. They have to, they have no alternative. But in doing that, they could very easily get hit with a second goal with the pace and power that Portsmouth have on the break.
Looking to counter-attack now to David Nugent. Skipping past the challenges very adroitly too. Glenn Johnson. Cardiff looking really weary now, having to strain every sinew to keep themselves in this final. Ryderson. Salim Montari. Into Diarra. Certainly a contender for man of the match. It was all action display from the midfield for Pompey. Back on the ball again. Now Distin. Off goes the Frenchman. On a really positive run too. Sylvain Distin. Going all the way. Still Distin. Just couldn't force it in. Oh, what a burst that was.
Well, it looked like the first 5 minutes of the game, not the last 5 minutes of the game. He just strolled through the Cardiff team there. They must have been as surprised as any. He came up to Roger Johnson there, takes it by him as soon as he turns his back on him. But thankfully, Johnson just gets back to get a tackle on him. But tremendous run there by Distin.
Hadn't scored all season, probably just remembered that. Thought it's time I got one. $89,874 assembled at Wembley today and still thoroughly immersed in this final, which remains in the balance. Distin might have sealed it for Pompey. Do they include us in that figure, Ray? I never know that one.
I doubt it.
It'll be the day when you pay for a ticket. By Distin. No chance for Ray to come back at me because here come Poppy now with Nugent.
You're very lucky there. You know it.
He's even had nice sandwiches. Capaldi. Nudged out by Campbell. He won't reach that one though. Nugent. On to Diop. The man from Senegal. Movements it first. His boot was rather high in truth. Milan Baros on here almost at the last. And Trevor Sinclair is on for Cardiff. In place of Gavin Ray. Rapturous applause for Kanu. The Pompey fans hoping, believing now that his goal is going to win them the FA Cup. Baros, who hasn't scored yet, he's on loan at Pompey, came a few months ago. Here's the goal again. Sadly spilled that cross in from Utaka by Peter Enckelman. He's had to live with that, the memory of that aberration in the Birmingham Derby 6 years ago, and now he's got another one he'll probably never live down. Ramsey. On to Trevor Sinclair, the veteran, the 35-year-old. Former England international. He only came back into the Cardiff squad recently after a long-term injury in his first season down at Ninian Park. Excellent player in his time, and I doubt he thought when he went down to Wales, I'll be playing in the cup final come the end of the season. There's a few that will be thinking the same way. But they're getting ready. He's penciled Portsmouth in. If it was Borussia Mönchengladbach, he'd be waiting a bit, I think, wouldn't he?
You know, in football as we do, I think still being a little bit.
I think he's being a bit previous here, I think. Good play by McNaughton. Goodness me, he's kept going. Sinclair. McNaughton again. They've got three in the box. Will it be a chance for Ramsey? The 17-year-old. Just couldn't get a strike on goal. Morgan Thompson. Here's Ramsey to try again. Ryderson flung himself in his path. McNaughton has just sunk to the ground over on the far side. Absolutely exhausted. He's collapsed. It's Baros. Much pressure for Poppy. Inside the last 2 minutes. There will be 4 extra minutes.
It'll take 4 minutes for McNaughton to get back, I think.
He's just about on his feet again. Limping back. He's in agony. But you try dragging him off. He intends to see it through, but what a chance there. Young Ramsey just wouldn't fall for him.
Well, he wouldn't, no. I think he probably just had a half an opportunity to strike it earlier and he didn't. He wanted the ball in the perfect position, and by the time he tried to do that, he was closed down by the Premiership defenders and therefore was then forced wide. But there was, for a moment, a golden opportunity for the boy. There really was.
Diop. Settling for the corner. Cardiff not yet settling for defeat. But they have got time yet. Diop. Cardiff's free kick. Tremendous noise all around the stadium. The louder voices belong to the Pompey fans. But the Cardiff City supporters, away to my left, still roaring encouragement to their team, hoping they can yet save the day. Bumped away by Ackerman. Crowd have just heard. There will be 4 added minutes, as indicated on the board there by Chris Foy. The fourth official, Montari. Now that to Hariderson.
You have to give credit to Cardiff that they're making Portsmouth just kick it down the field with nobody trying to get it. They've forced Portsmouth back to defend this last 20 minutes, and we've seen nothing of Portsmouth in an attacking force at all.
Right, Capaldi with the long throw, inevitably now. Can they snatch something here? Cardiff City. Such a brave, gutsy performance from the Welsh club. And is it going to end now in misery and heartbreak? Aaron Ramsey. Running around like a young colt. Here's Johnson. And Dion, who was upended. And the decision has gone to Pompey. I'm sure he's given the free kick. I think he has, yeah. They are almost there, Portsmouth. Determined to play decidedly better than they have done in the last few matches, in terms of results anyway, in the Premier League. They are now, it would seem, going to end the season in style, big time, unless Cardiff can drag themselves back into it now. Off Montari, up goes Johnson. They'll throw it forward here surely to the bitter end. Parry will challenge, but David James will claim and buy himself a little extra time. And you can just imagine what it means to that fellow, John Portsmouth Football Club. And his name changed by Depot. It was a rough old challenge then. Yellow card for Diarra. And it's a different kind of punishment that Cardiff are seeking now. Enkelman has come all the way up to take the kick. The Cardiff fans on their feet behind that goal, behind David James's goalposts. Enkelman with the kick. They're all in there now for Cardiff. Johnson's effort, charged down. And turned behind for the corner. They've had chances.
Well, they have, and you've got to credit them. They've kept going, and they keep getting little half chances. There's another lovely turn, and a great block there. It really was, and it was needed.
Ramsey with the corner. Capaldi has to fetch it and bring it back across the box again. David James underneath it and clinging on for dear life. Barros right upfield here. But it's Pompey Chimes of Wembley joy, 69 years on from their last FA Cup final. His famous old club have at last another triumph to celebrate, and Harry Redknapp, in his first experience of a major occasion, is a Wembley winner. Kanu, man of the match, the only goal of the match. And it's commiserations to Cardiff City, who gave it their very best, really took it to Portsmouth at every opportunity, but in the end, just not quite enough.
No, it certainly wasn't, but all the Cardiff fans can be proud of their team. They gave it everything they had. They forced Portsmouth back in the second half. Portsmouth was seen nothing of as an attacking force at all, and Cardiff just couldn't get that opening. They had a couple of half chances, but just didn't get David James to make any spectacular saves. So, well done to Portsmouth. They probably just about deserved it. They didn't play that well, but they probably just about deserved it. But fantastic for Cardiff. Great day out for them. They probably won't think it at the moment, having been beaten, but they certainly did Wales and Cardiff proud.
Absolutely, in this season of twists and turns, shocks and FA Cup surprises. But it's the favourites on the day who've shot through to end Cardiff City's brave resilience. Only the second time Pompey have won the FA Cup in their 110-year history. And now a chance of European football for the first time too. They've beaten Cardiff, but it was pretty close in the end by a goal to nil.
So the traditional end-of-season showdown was decided by a single goal. Perhaps not an epic final, but certainly an emotional one, as Harry Redknapp secured his first major trophy in 25 years of football management.
On the way up 107 steps, it'll seem like 7. Led up by Sol Campbell, who came in for some criticism for accusing the club of lacking ambition a few months ago. Well, they've shown ambition today, and they have their reward. Sol Campbell, an FA Cup winner in the past with Arsenal, and now about to lift the trophy for Portsmouth, a team he joined 2 seasons ago, and then he thought maybe his career was all but over then. Far from it. Sir Bobby Robson, today's chief guest of honour, about to hand it over to him, and you can just imagine the response it's going to get. Scenes of utter jubilation away to our right here at Wembley. Packed Wembley Stadium today, and for Portsmouth it is a moment they will never ever forget as they pass the trophy along the line. And as you say, Ray Clements alongside me here, just about deserving it on the day, but my word, Cardiff gave them a fight.
They certainly did, yeah. I think just about their Premiership class at times just showed through, albeit the goal that they got came from a goalkeeping error. I have to unfortunately say that, but I think most of the credit will go to Cardiff because of the way they made a game of it. They had no respect for Portsmouth. They went at them right from the start, had 2 or 3 half chances themselves, and really needed to take one of those chances to really push Portsmouth. Once Portsmouth got in front, I think although Cardiff put them under pressure, then certainly they didn't create anything, and Portsmouth was pretty controlled. So it's a great day for that man Kanu there. I'm sure we'll see some dancing on the pitch from him when he comes down those steps. And a great afternoon for all these wonderful Portsmouth supporters. You know, throughout the year, they play at home and away. They've been brilliant throughout the Premiership, and this is a day they're going to remember for a long time. And as we can see to our right-hand side, they are enjoying every single moment of it.
Harry Redknapp, who was saying beforehand he wanted to dedicate victory today, should it happen, to his wife Sandra for all the trauma they've had in their personal lives lately. And you can just imagine how Harry is feeling now. Only a few months ago, of course, turning down the job at Newcastle, preferring to stay instead down on the south coast where he is so settled with his family home. He will not be regretting it now. The first team, other than one of the top 4, to win the trophy since Everton back in 1995. Harry Redknapp, the first English manager to lift the trophy since Joe Royle that year. A cup final that no one surely predicted could possibly happen back in January. Portsmouth FA Cup winners for only the second time in their history, the first since 1939. What a day for them. From Ray Clements and from myself, Peter Brackley, we'll say our goodbyes now. Their name is on the cup as they hoped it would be. Portsmouth are the FA Cup winners of 2008.
This is the biggest stage, and you have to perform at the biggest stage. The whole world is watching. You have to show you can play football. You have to show what you're meant of. And today, especially, I had a good game. Man of the match, scored, and we won.
To finish 8th and win the FA Cup is fantastic for our football club, you know, and the fans, and great for everybody associated with the club. It's amazing turnaround the last couple of years again, what we've achieved. You know, I took over a team when I came back here. It was going to get relegated, and we've ended up now we're top half team 2 years running, win the FA Cup. It's been great.
I think we've ran them all away, and you know there wasn't much in between it. And you know, we gathered the stats, and when you see the stats, it shows that maybe we just were on top and their goal arrived. But I have no complaints today. Harry deserves it. They won the game, and we have no regrets, and that's the most important thing for us. We give it everything we had.
Fantastic, you know, it's great day out for Portsmouth, and individually it's fantastic. You know, we worked hard for this competition, and you know, we've got to adjust rules. We played some good football. And Cardiff, you know, they played well in patches, but you know, we won the cup, and it's a great. Everyone connected with Portsmouth. It's a great day. It's a great day playing at Wembley, winning the game. You know, what more do you want?
We've got Europe, so we look forward to that. But we'll enjoy tonight. We'll enjoy the FA Cup first, and worry about Europe next year.
A dream come true for Harry Redknapp and the Portsmouth fans as the pre-match favourites clinched the victory thanks to Kanu's first-half strike. Underdogs Cardiff showed the fighting spirit which had seen them through to the final, but in the end, the South Coast team proved too resilient. Party on, Pompey.